President Granger returns from Cuba and advisories issued in preparation for expected high tides. Welcome to InfoHub. It's Wednesday, October 23. Here's what's making the news. His Excellency President David Granger returned to the country from Cuba after completing scheduled medical evaluation at CIMIQ over the past few days. The medical specialists have explained that the president's ailment is now in remission and in keeping with strict medical procedures. He is expected to return to Cuba for another scheduled routine medical check in January 2020. Afterward, the next evaluation will be in June 2020. Before leaving, President Granger restated his gratitude to Cuban President His Excellency Miguel Diaz-Canel Bermudez, the government of Cuba, and the CIMIQ medical team, which has been responsible for his treatment in Cuba over the past months. The fundamental role of education and human resource development will be the highlight at the 38th meeting of the Council of Human and Social Development being held at the CARICOM Secretariat in Georgetown.
Along with understanding their critical roles, education ministers from across the Caribbean will also move to take action on the HRD 2030 strategy. The strategy provides a roadmap for converged action by member states in the fields of education and training to unlock Caribbean human potential. CARICOM's Secretary General Ambassador Erwin LaRocque said that the hub of the strategy is the prioritization of the construction of a globally competitive, innovative, and integrated education system to drive inclusive, sustainable development in the region.
The key now is taking action, and I repeat action, to realize the vision of the HRD 2030 strategy. This 38th meeting of the COSOD is then aptly themed, moving from vision to action. The issues to be discussed illustrate in concrete terms the actions needed at the level of member states and the CARICOM Secretariat, and I dare say by some of our regional institutions, if the aspirations for Caribbean human potential are to be realized.
The access to quality education is the right of every child, and with the progression of time and advancement of technology, Guyana's Minister of Education, Dr. Nicolette Henry, said it is only fitting that everything possible is done to make this necessity available to all.
We live in a time when lots of things are happening in the global education fraternity. For many countries, the advancement of information and communication technology to enable learning is a cardinal priority, and we have to ensure that our region is not left behind.
Over the next 2 days, the Council will seek consensus on the need for a holistic response to the implementation of the HRD strategy, active leadership at all levels to ensure sustainability for the innovative institutional mechanisms, and the need to critically examine at the local and regional levels the barriers that stymie quality educational delivery and human capital development at all levels of the education system. Reporting for InfoHub, Alexis Rodney.
With high tides expected on Friday, I went along with a team to the Maikoni foreshore to get an update on the ongoing works to strengthen the sea defenses. Here in the Fairfield area, approximately 100 meters of riprap structure has already been completed. Just behind me is an excavator that is stockpiling the boulders that would have come off of the barge. Just out to the Atlantic Ocean, you'll see that another barge is on its way. Now, at this site, works are being done by ANS General Contractors, Inc., and to date, 5,000 tons of boulders would have been brought in. Further east, the National Drainage and Irrigation Authority has played a major role. Now, since the last spring tide, 2 diesel pumps would have been put in place in Cottage and 1 at Danzig to help to drain the Bellamy Canal into the Atlantic Ocean. I can tell you that another pump is on its way to Danzig, and 4 pumps altogether will help to alleviate the flooding situation in this area. The Woodlands Mahaika Sluice is the only one that drains the Bellamy Canal and will be operational to ensure maximum drawdown of water during the low tide periods. Now, over in Danzig, Maikoni, we're standing along the access dam that is being used by BK International to execute much needed emergency works along the foreshore. Just behind me is an excavator that is being used to widen the dam and to also impolder it to minimize flooding in the residential areas. Now, just to give you an understanding of what is taking place here at Danzig, truckloads of dirt is being brought to support the boulders that are being placed to arrest the breach. Execution of the emergency works has been no easy task. 4 barges have sunken since the last spring tide, and a tank has sunk about 2 weeks ago, all due to the ferocious waves of the Atlantic Ocean. Additionally, limited access to the breached area has resulted in the contractors working progressively inward from both eastern and western ends of the breaches. The Civil Defense Commission, CDC, wishes to advise the public, particularly those residing along the coastal belt of Guyana, regions 2 through 6, to enforce the following precautions in order to minimize damages to property and prevention of any health hazard. Report any sea defense breaches. Place sandbags where needed. Unplug all electrical items. Place all important documents in sealed plastic bags or containers and place in a safe space. Elevate all household furniture and appliances. Relocate livestock to higher ground. Create containerized storage for drinking and cooking water. Use purification tablet as prescribed. Ensure children and elderly stay clear of flooded water. Visit the nearest health center if you experience any skin irritation or feel sick. The spring tides will last from October 25 through November 1. The Guyana Rice Development Board has advised all rice farmers along the coastal belt to take the necessary precautions as the forecasted high tides approach.
The predicted high tides will be from Friday, October 25 to November 1. Monday, October 28 is expected to experience the majority of the effects, with the tides at a height of 3.31 at around 16:13 hours. General Manager of GRDB Nizam Hassan sensitized farmers ahead of the upcoming event.
One of the things the farmers can immediately do is paddy that is ready to be harvested, to immediately harvest this paddy, especially given that there's a possibility that this paddy could be lost with any inundation by the salt water. Secondly, if farmers have paddy that are 10 to 12 days before the harvesting period, we're also advising, and I'm advised by my technical personnel, that they should go ahead and harvest that paddy.
Referring specifically to those farmers in low-lying and riverine regions, the general manager suggested that dams surrounding the rice beds should be raised.
Any inlets into the rice field should be sealed and properly sealed too, to prevent any intrusion of, or any possible intrusion of salt water into the land. And then fourthly, they can also raise the areas around the rice fields, whether it's the meres or the dams, raise it so prevent any of the salt water from getting into the rice field.
Hassan added that farmers can invest in other locations, while emphasizing clearly that these areas must not be prone to flooding. Kellen Rover for InfoHub.
Still to come, with spring tides expected, Public Health Ministry advises against waterborne diseases, and Lady Coco returns for Agri-tourism expo. Details after the break. Thanks for staying with us. Still on the subject of the expected spring tides, which are likely to affect coastal and low-lying communities, posing a possible risk of waterborne diseases, Chief Medical Officer of the Ministry of Public Health, Dr. Shamdir Prasad, shares necessary advice on health measures to be taken during this period.
One of the great risks with flooding, intermittent flooding like this, is usually it pushes all those pests, rats, snakes, everything to higher ground too. And some of them would even invade homes. The issue of leptospirosis is still one that is of concern to public health. So ensuring that you protect all water sources, all your drinking water supplies, food supplies is also very, very critical. All right. The rats coming into your home, they will also search for food, and they don't practice good hygiene, as you know.
Chief Medical Officer of the Ministry of Public Health, Dr. Shamdir Prasad, says persons in vulnerable areas are advised to adopt these precautionary measures, which will guarantee their safety from many diseases. He also warned that they stay clear of floodwaters as they may be contaminated.
avoid coming in contact with the water, any flood water, because of the presence of pit latrines, septic tanks, and so on, and we are below sea level. There's a high tendency for flood water to be contaminated with a number of organisms. So I'm appealing again, many times you see persons when the canals and the trenches are full, people take that opportunity, children are swimming.
During this period also, the Guyana Water Incorporated has been doing its part to ensure that the supply of water to residents is not compromised.
GWI has been working with us to ensure that the water pressure within the distribution network is maintained, and even in the last episodes along Tenamstel and in parts of Region 5, they have upped the chlorine levels in the water that they were distributing, but they've also maintained high enough pressure in the distribution network, because when the pressure drops, apparently water can be sucked back in, dirty water can be sucked into the line and then pumped to your homes.
Health centers in areas prone to be affected by flooding as a result of the forecasted spring tides are equipped with the necessary medicines and emergency supplies. These health facilities may also serve as relief facilities if needed. The ministry's environmental health officers will also be rendering their services to affected areas, ensuring that there is proper disposal of waste and other items damaged or lost due to flooding. For InfoHub, Delicia Haynes.
The revamped Lady Coco returned to the spotlight on Tuesday evening as she was unveiled for the Agri-tourism expo and business forum being held at the Arthur Chung Conference Center.
Director General at the Department of Tourism, Donald Sinclair, shared recently that the monument, which was first unveiled in 2016, signifies a tree of life and can be considered as the mother behind the Agri-tourism initiative. He said her evolution sustains and preserves good work undertaken to construct such a work of art.
What Lady Coco has given birth to, and we have to see this as a birth process, is the Agri-tourism expo, which will be an integral part of the baptism of an agri-tourism sector in Guyana. It took a long time to construct Lady Coco. It took an even longer time to refashion her. She's now back in business.
Chief Technical Officer attached to the Ministry of Agriculture, George Jarvis, said the unveiling of the monument and logo was quite fitting.
It will serve as a permanent reminder of the start of our journey towards developing the industry. Agro-tourism offers farmers the possibility of diversifying and generating additional income through on-farm touristic activities in order to help supplement their agricultural income and maintain the viability of farms and rural communities.
It was disclosed following the conclusion of the Expo and Business Forum, the monument will be permanently erected in the compound of the Ministry of Agriculture. It is expected that with the first ever Agri-tourism Expo and Business Forum, the thrust for the merging of tourism and agriculture will be a positive boost for both the farmers and the tour operators. The event is being held under the theme Linking Agriculture and Tourism for a Green Economy. Neola Damon, InfoHub.
Remember to tune in to The Voice of Guyana on Thursday, October 24 at 11 a.m. when Attorney General and Minister of Legal Affairs, the Honorable Basil Williams, will be on Insight. The Attorney General will be looking at the government's position on pertinent matters and the recent Chief Justice ruling. So be sure to tune in. As we close, here is a reminder from the Guyana Elections Commission.
GCOM's preliminary list of electors is now on its website, www.gcom.org.gy. Citizens are reminded to check the voters list to ensure their names are on it. GCOM's claims and objection exercise began on October 1st and will end on November 18, 2019. During this time, the following persons can check the registration office in their respective districts to verify their registration records for inclusion on the list of electors. Persons who are 18 years or older or will become 18 by December 31st, 2019. And Guyanese citizens by birth, descent, naturalization or registration, and a citizen of a Commonwealth country living in Guyana for no less than a year before December 31st, 2019. Also, Persons whose names appear on the central registrar can make changes or corrections during this period. GCOM's claims and objection exercise is being conducted at all GCOM offices throughout the country.
That's all for today. Connect with us on WhatsApp, Facebook, and YouTube. Much more news is on our website at dpi.gov.gy, and pop over to Instagram for the latest photo updates at DPI Guyana. Your bridge and weather reports are up next. Goodbye for now.